first I'm going to get my area ready, just covering up my keyboard so I don't get ink sprayed on it. I'm going to be using the Delusion Spray inks, just spraying in random spots. This color here is the Lemon Zest. Then I'm going to grab my mini mister full of water, and I'm just going to spritz water all over the page because you can see it's water activated. I'm going to heat dry, and sorry, one of my light bulbs went out, so we're just going to do this in just my regular craft room light, and I'm so sorry it's not like a true bright color. Here I'm using Bubblegum Pink, and I'm just going to use a paper towel to kind of pick up some of that extra, and then again my mini mister with just plain water to spritz and activate some of that extra color. And Delusion sprays are a really rich and bright color, so you can always use water to kind of dull them out a little bit, but the colors are just amazing. Here I'm going to use the London Blue. I love this color, just to spray it around and splotch it up. And once again, just use your paper towel, blot it around just to pick up some of that extra color. And then I'm going to go ahead and spray some more water just to get it activated. I suggest maybe using a paper towel or some newspaper. Here you'll see me doing that because I don't want it to bleed all over some of my extra sheets that actually have no color, because I'm going to really saturate the paper just to get those colors to really blend. And then I'm going to heat dry everything, and of course paper towel blot it while I'm doing that. And you can see the texture and how the paper looks while it's being done. I really like the effect it gets when you blot at the same time while letting colors run. So now I'm going to start stamping. Here is a balloon set from the Steampunk Circus Sin City stamp collection, and I used the Ranger Archival ink to stamp it out, then I cut it out. And here I'm just grabbing my distress markers. Here's the Wild Honey marker and then the Wild Honey ink pad to color the hot air balloon. So here you're just going to see me, I go in and use the ink pad just smashed on my craft mat to use to pick up some of that color versus just doing an ink pad to water brush technique. And then I use the distress marker to add in more shading for the hot air balloon. And then like here you'll see it just where I really want it dark, and then I use just layers and layers of ink and watercoloring. Definitely takes a little bit more time than just using Copics or colored pencils, but it's still really, really fun just to do different art mediums. So here I just grabbed some more markers and I'm just coloring in the rest of my image, which of course I'm so sorry my camera does not zoom in super close for this coloring part, but you'll be able to see the image colored in, of course, on some still shots that I'll have up on my blog and some still shots that I'll add in after this video clip. Once again, I'm just coloring in the rest of the hot air balloon and getting the image colored and getting it ready to put into my art journal page. Now here I wanted to add some blue behind it, like some sky, so I sprayed that Delusion spray, that London Blue, and then I just sprayed some water right next to it, and I'm picking up color and just building layers of watercoloring to have some clouds and sky behind my hot air balloon. And you can see just blending it out with water, picking up more color until I'm satisfied with the way it looks. And of course I don't like to waste ink, so because there was so much ink still on my craft mat versus picking it up with a paper towel, you'll see me use a scrap white piece of paper and just pick up all that splotchy good mess, and I'll actually end up using this on making a banner just randomly thought for this art journal page. So always use your scraps, always save your ink if you can, versus just wasting it on a paper towel. So here you're going to see I use the brand new Tim Holtz Distress Paints. It's my first time using that color, so you're going to see me shake it up really good. And I'm going to get another stamp from the Sin City's Stamps Steampunk Circus set. It's the Admit 1 ticket, and I'm going to paint that stamp just with the dauber part and get a real good coat of paint on it, and then use that and stamp it on my journal. I really like how it pops off. The color really pops off the page. Of course, you'll be able to see that again in my still photos. Of course, I don't like to waste, so you'll see me use that little scrap piece of paper that I just used to pick up the rest of that while I'm heat drying the new paints, because they are really liquidy, so you have time to blend them out because they do react with water. Love those new paints. So here you're going to see me spray some water back into that little puddle that started to dry up, and I'm just going to use the Tim Holtz flicking method. Pick up that paint and flick it. I'm going to flick it all over my art journal until I'm satisfied with the way it looks. And then I'm going to go ahead and heat set it because, you know, it was really watery, so it takes just a little bit of time to dry. And once, you know, you want to dry your layers before you start moving on to the next. So once it starts to dry a little bit, then I'm just going to go in and paper towel whatever's not dry to get it moving to the next step. And you can see that water, how it lifted the delusional spray. I love that technique. I believe they call it ghosting. It's a ghost effect. So here I'm going to use a Crafter's Workshop stencil. I want to say that is the Herringbone, I believe is the name of the stencil. And I'm going to use some Lindy Stamp Gangs spray. I believe that is the Scintillating Silver is the name of that spray. And I'm going to use it. I'm going to spray, and then I'm going to use the negative of that spray just to not waste. And of course you want to heat dry between your layers of Lindy spray just to make sure you don't get colors muddled, and to make sure that ink has a good dry on it. So here you can see more of that ghosting technique, but there's shimmer in those parts, which I will show you later. So here I'm grabbing another stamp from the Sin City Steampunk Circus set. This is going to be the clown. So here I'm just getting the stamp, and I inked it, of course, in my archival ink. And I just kept stamping it until the image kind of faded. Sorry, you see my head? Just looking at the page and thinking about what I want to do and getting it ready for the next. So here's that little scrap piece that I used. And I just went ahead and made a banner of it. And I thought it actually went perfectly well with this. I was glad I was able to use this scrap immediately. So here you'll see me grab just another stamp from the collection. It's just one of those like medicine bottles from back in the day. And it's actually got the word laughter on it. You can't really see it here while I'm stamping, but I'm just going to continuously stamp because I really thought that was fun. This art journal page is based on just a bright, colorful circus theme. So I thought laughter. You laugh when you go to the circus, unless you're afraid of the circus. So here you'll see that I grabbed some foam dots. These are just circle dots from Michaels, and I'm just going to make sure everything's got a good layer of pop dots so I could adhere it to my art journal page because I wanted it to have some dimension. I didn't want it to be all one flat surface. So here I'm just grabbing another stamp from the set. I'm going to use my archival ink again to stamp it. And then after I get it stamped on there how I want it, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut it out. No particular style. Once again, it's just an art journal page. Just you make it how you want it. I don't think your art journal pages are supposed to be perfect. I mean, just perfect to you and just creative in a way. So here I'm fussy cutting it out. Then I'm going to grab that distress paint that I used on the stamp just to kind of ink around the edges and give it a little bit of shine and pop off. Pop off the page is kind of what I wanted it to do. And then here you'll see me bring the journal back and use just a little bit of that was on my craft sheet to put on that balloon. Figuring out how I want to place it, and so I decided I wanted to do another Admit One stamp. And so of course I'm just inking it back up with that distress paint using the dauber, and then going ahead and layering it down. And then of course you want to make sure you heat set it. So here you can see that shimmer. You can see that stamp kind of, and you can see this shimmer in that scintillating silver that I used that Lindy's to do that background stencil. Sorry, it got blurry. I'm going to use my frayed burlap distress marker just to outline those ticket images. because you know, you want it to be popping a little bit. Then I use the Fabri-Tac just to put down my little sentiment, and again, I'm just outlining the image, nothing too serious. And then I'm going to use the Studio Calico, the hexagon stencil, and then I'm just going to spray it with some of that black delusional, I want to say it's called licorice, of the black delusional spray. I'm trying to block off anything I didn't want sprayed because that spray is pretty heavy. I used some water just to spread it out because that black, like I said, it's a really heavy spray. Anytime you want to add black, try to add a little at a time. And then I don't like to waste, so I just used the negative of it, picked it up with some paper towel, and sprayed some more. I wasn't too happy with it, but then at the same time I told myself it's just an art journal. Just have fun and just let go. Let it do whatever. So here you'll see that I used that Pop Dots, and I actually used that Lindy Stamp Gang spray again, just to add more layering of spray, and you know, it does that ghosting effect. So of course I'm going to heat dry, and once it's heat dry I blot it a little bit. And here's the finished page. You can really see the shimmer in the spray. You can see the stamps that I used, and there's the balloon, colored and finished. Just really grungy circus. And of course the sentiment, you know, says, "Let the adventure begin." So that's my page. Thanks.